Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. I hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. Welcome back to another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to the brand leaders about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer channel and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Sherri Landry, who's the Chief Marketing Officer at CC Entertainment, which owns Chuck E. Cheese, Peter Piper Pizza, and Pasqually's Pizza and Wings brand. Sherri, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for having me.
First off, I know you've been quite busy doing a little travel recently, so it sounds like you're doing some fun things. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and all that you do at CEC Entertainment?
Absolutely. So as the Chief Marketing Officer, I have the privilege of really learning a lot about our guests, understanding what their needs and wants are, and then delivering on the execution and the mission of 3 brands, which is fantastic. And so I oversee all 3 brands that you mentioned, Chuck E. Cheese, which is our largest brand, Peter Piper Pizza, which is a regional pizza and family entertainment brand, and then our virtual ghost kitchen brand called Pasqually's Pizza and Wings. And so in that, we develop promotions, campaigns, activations, events, messaging that makes sense for the guests that are interested in those particular businesses, and try to ensure that what we're offering them meets their needs, and that the experience that they have once they get there delivers on their expectations. So it's a really fun job. It's a job that combines kind of strategy and analytics with creativity, which gives us great balance. And then the fun part of my job, you mentioned I'm doing a little bit of traveling, is actually seeing the families in our venues enjoying what we have to offer.
Okay. And for those who don't know, can you give us a short short background? I'll get this right. A rough day today. Can you give us a short background, short history of Chuck E. Cheese and CEC Entertainment and all that you guys do, and maybe the 3 brands and how they work together?
Absolutely. So Chuck E. Cheese. Let's just talk about Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese is the brand I think that most people, not only across the United States but across the world, know. If you say Chuck E. Cheese, whether you are 5 or 75, you have something in your mind that says, "Oh, I've done that," or "Been to a birthday," or "I know Chuck E." And so it's the place where 1 million happy birthdays are celebrated each year, right? So if you just think about the fabric of growing up and what a birthday party means to a kid who's 5, right? Your birthday party is everything. You start planning your birthday the day after your birthday, right? Because you're excited about it. And we have the privilege of actually servicing families for more than 40 years with really wonderful birthdays, creating positive and lifelong memories for them. Across the United States, we have Chuck E. Cheese's in 47 states.
Okay.
We have more than 460 locations in the United States. We service 15 countries across the world outside of the United States. It's adding about another 100 locations to our footprint. We are a strong advocate for local communities. We try to get involved wherever we are. And to date, we've donated nearly $20 million to schools for our fundraising programs. So we are a brand that's really just all about families with young kids, being the place where you can come and create a moment, even if it's not for a birthday or a great report card. It's just about, it's Tuesday night and we want to do something together. We're the place where you can come do that safely with your kids. We're the place where you have permission for your 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old to actually be a kid. So you think about our tagline, where a kid can be a kid. We fully embrace that and encourage families to celebrate kiddom with us.
Okay, great. And I was actually looking off to my side here in my office. I came across a couple pictures recently from when my kids were young, from the Chuck E. Cheese photo machine with all the little kind of border on it. And I was looking if I had them, but I can't see it's buried over there. Anyway, but
I see your kids in the background there. We still have that machine. And I'm in Brandon, Florida right now. And got the opportunity to actually be in one of our venues 2 nights ago for a grand reopening, and seeing all the kids and the families take those photos and hold them up and look at them. it's a moment, right? And people put them on their mirrors or they put them on their dressers, and whether it's a year later or maybe 10 years later, you keep that photo and it gives you kind of a sense of happiness to remember that moment. So it's an iconic piece of Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of looking around. It's in my wife had made me a birthday thing, and there were a bunch of them in there, like a card from one of the print shops. Like, so it was interesting. I just saw 3 of them. I thought, wow, I just saw that the other day, and there's really like 4 or 5 of them in there. So I've got probably hundreds of them because I'm, luckily my kids wanted to go a lot when they were young. So, but it is a cool memory. You pick it out and just you have a picture with them, and it's cute, and it's timely, and it's also evergreen as well. Because it does have some cool memories. So I would have had a nice plug there, but I should have been more prepared.
That's okay. We trust you.
Okay. So you recently announced your new Summer Fun Pass program and Summer of Fun, the event and the promotion. Can you give us some details about those programs and how those came to be?
I can. So as you all know, last year was the year that never was for many of us, right? The world kind of stopped. But we didn't stop thinking about what Chuck E. Cheese meant to families. And we wanted to develop something that really took into consideration the eyes of a child. And if you think about your childhood and you go to school and you learn about different things, one of the things you learn about are the 4 seasons, right? Winter, spring, summer, and fall. You learn about that, and that becomes kind of how you mark the year. And we listen to kids, we listen to moms, and we say, gosh, there's something interesting about this 4 seasons, right? And they're all iconic in their own way. And we were coming up on, at the time, it was probably August of last year, July or August of last year. And we said, wow, we're getting ready to come into fall. What are the things that are iconic about fall? And there's this little thing called trick-or-treating or fall festival, depending on who you are and where you live, where kids just love to dress up, right? And parents and adults love to dress up. It gives you a permission to kind of suspend reality and be whoever you want to be and just have fun. And we thought, wow, that so embodies who we are. And so we launched our first program called Chuck E. Cheese, the Chuck E. Cheese Halloween Bootacular. Okay. And it was super successful where we were open. We saw lots of kids come dressed up. We had our own trick or treat program. We had Chucky as Dracula, right? He had his like fangs. And that really begat this thinking that we could create something that's ownable, and we could create something that really spoke to this time period in your life where kids are looking for the next thing, parents are looking for the next thing. And so we developed 4 seasons of fun. It's the number 4 seasons of fun. And we did Bootacular. We launched into Winter Winterland. We just came out of Springtastic, the Springtastic celebration. So it's celebrating all the things that are spring. And now we're going into the Summer of Fun, right? Because when you think about summer is about school being out. It's about riding bikes and going to the beach and being in the pool. It's about finding a place to do something together as a family because the days are longer. You have permission to do that. And what better place to do that when it's 100 degrees or 95 degrees and 98% humidity than to come to Chuck E. Cheese, right? So we created the Summer of Fun. It's a fully immersive experience. And what that means is we offer our guests, when you walk in, seasonal decor that speaks to summer. So when you're 5 and you walk in and you see beach balls and you see starfish and flip-flops, wow, that you transform that box to summer. We offer special menu items, and so that you can't get any other time of the year. And so there's a sweet, hot chili Hawaiian pizza that has pineapple and ham on it. We have some fun Sour Patch Kids desserts that speak to summer. We have, we call it the yummy taste of summer. We have new entertainment. And so we have a show that happens in Chuck E. Cheese every hour on the half hour. And it's a new show that speaks to summer. And we are giving people access to the Summer of Fun with what we call the Summer Fun Pass. And so you can buy a Summer Fun Pass. There are 3 levels, there's 3 tiers, there's bronze, silver, and gold, so whatever's right for your family. But that offers parents ways to save, gives them the best value possible, because once you buy your pass, every week you get a play card that brings you back to Chuck E. Cheese. So once you buy it once, you get your play card to come back. And then there are other one-time offers that we give you that help round out your experience. And so there's a one-time welcome offer of pizza and drinks, right? There's a one-time welcome offer of cotton candy for the kiddos. And depending on the pass structure, they might vary. But it allows you to come have fun. When you buy your pass, it pays for itself in 2 visits because of the way that we structured the pass. We wanted to be a great value, but it just gives you permission to come back multiple times in the summer without breaking the bank. So have fun, come in, cool off, enjoy the menu, enjoy the entertainment, enjoy Chucky, enjoy the decor, enjoy the food, but do so in a way that makes sense for your family and your wallet.
Okay. I think you also launched a new app in conjunction with the rewards program. Can you tell us about the new launch and what the rewards program aims to do for your brand and the customers? Obviously, you're adding a number of kind of nice ancillary offerings that provide deep engagement.
We do. Listen, we've been busy, right? And we know. Listen, I'll grab my phone because it's right here, because everybody's phone is kind of right here always. We know that people manage their lives in the palms of their hands. And we know that moms and dads and grandparents are busier than ever. And we wanted to find a way to give them access to Chuck E. Cheese and to manage their experience from the palms of their hands. So we launched our new app. The app is available on both iOS and Android. And we designed it that allows people to one, join our loyalty club, right? And so they can join the loyalty club, which gives them different perks and different offers that other people don't get. But it also allows you to track your reward. So you earn rewards for every dollar that you spend, you earn a reward. It allows you to get rewarded back for every dollar that you spend in buckets. So there's a 50-point bucket, there's a 100-point bucket, and a 150-point bucket. So depending on how you're coming and how you're spending, you get different rewards. What the app also allows you to do is manage your experience. So you can order for delivery or pickup right from your app. You can book a birthday party right from your app. We are adding the integration with our games platform. And so you will be able to store your cards, load your cards, transfer balance between your play cards right there on your app.
Okay.
You go to your e-commerce store from your app. And so you can purchase gift cards from your app. All this functionality is there to make your experience easier, right? And ultimately, and we're working on this right now, you will be able to sit at your table, order your pizza, your drinks, have it brought to you. So if you think about the queue, sometimes you come in, you have fun. I wasn't going to order pizza, but now we've been here for 70 minutes and the kids are starving because they're always hungry. And you can do that right there from your table. That is on the foreground and in the really near future. And we hope to be testing it, in fact, in the next quarter and rolling it out in Q4, maybe Q1 of next year. So that's super exciting. But the vision is really to give people access to the brand every way possible, right in the palm of their hands.
Okay. That's awesome. And when you look at customer loyalty, and we talk to great leaders, we got about 130, 135 members that are brands that are members of Loyalty360. And we love to talk to them about different facets of customer loyalty. One of the most important is, how do you define customer loyalty? What does customer loyalty mean to you and to your organization?
Listen, it is a great discussion. And I have a background in both CPG and traditional restaurant business. And loyalty, in many ways, historically, was described as, a frequency play, right? How do I get you to come back multiple times? The old punch card, you come 5 times, you get a 6th time free, and it's really just kind of get you back. But we view it as mobility and personalization, right? If you are able to take the brand with you wherever you go and personalize your experience that's right for you, because we have such a range of experiences that you can have inside Chuck E. Cheese and outside Chuck E. Cheese and online, that is what will generate loyalty over time, right? Because your experience is able to be customized to you. And so that's how we're approaching it, is that the more that you engage with us through the app, the more that you start to manage your experience, the more we can provide you the right type of offers, customize additional experiences. So for example, we are launching a summer concert pop-up tour. This year, that pop-up tour is for everybody. And so we said, right, we're just going to pop it up and we're going to see how this works. But imagine an experience where you're part of our mobility and loyalty program, where you get invited or you get VIP seating at the concert tour because you're part of the program. So it's more about how do you engage and experience with the brand in a way that makes sense for you.
Right.
And we can measure that over time because you're going to tell us what makes sense for you.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big challenges and opportunities is personalization is very important, but having the right technology, we find that brands struggle with that. We said we have weekly meetings with brands, CMOs, VPs, and they want to do personalization. They want to get to one-to-one, but doing it's very difficult, having the right technology, but being able to do it at scale is very difficult. And it sounds like you're doing some things to kind of move in that direction.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. And believe me, whether it's been here or other places, you try things and you think it's going to work and it doesn't work. But listen, we feel really good about where we are. The technology that we're using is allowing integrations for our PS platform, for our online ordering platform, for our games platform. All of those three things working together in one platform. Because if you've been to Chuck E. Cheese, you know you might be at the kiosk buying gameplay. You might be at the counter eating. You might be at home ordering something online from our e-commerce store. They're all very disconnected. But if you do it in the context of the app, it isn't anymore. And now I see you wholly, right, Mark? I see you as the entirety of who you are and your experience, not just one moment in time. And that is what will allow us to personalize your experience with us.
Absolutely. You talked about a little bit kind of how you're evolving, what next generation looks like. And you mentioned loyalty programs were originally just the RFM, right? Recency, frequency, monetary spend. Definitely a huge growth and kind of transition away from that for brands that are doing it well. So, how do you see your customer loyalty, customer experience strategies evolving past just being transactionally focused? You talked about some things you're doing, but how are you looking to engage and reward your customers going forward?
So today I shared with you that for every dollar spent, you do get a reward, right? And so this is not about for every visit, right? So many times it's like, if you visit us 5 times, you come. This is really about how you engage and wherever you engage, whether it's in home, online, or in store. And so that's important. But the rewards that we are providing, we are leaning towards more experience-based rewards as a long-term strategy. So if you can envision a place where it's about rewarding you with a birthday experience, rewarding you with an experience with our guy, Chuck E. Cheese, right? Rewarding you with an experience that might be online, or maybe rewarding you with one of our partnership experiences, whether it be a concert tour or a movie partnership. Because we think that what people are looking for, particularly in the entertainment space, are these memorable experiences. And so we have to find a way to transition there. So it's not just about your reward is $1 off or another transaction. Your reward is a memory that we're going to serve you because we're going to give you an experience that you may or may not have known about, may or may not have had access to, and get to enjoy uniquely sponsored from us.
Absolutely. So when you look at kind of the evolution, there obviously lots of challenges. Data, there's a Google fight with Apple. Privacy is bigger than ever before, right? With California, with Virginia, a number of states looking at that as well. And especially internationally, you have to look at potentially GDPR and others. What is the most significant challenge you face as a marketer and for brands today when it comes to technology? And how are you addressing those challenges?
Listen, data is always a challenge, right? But data is also the holy grail. And so we have a wonderful IT team. We have a wonderful strategic analytics team. We have a wonderful insights leader. And we're looking at all the ways possible for us to get data in a way that is that makes sense for our guests and for our business and leveraging that. Because the reality is the best way for us to build insights and build programs is to know what the guest wants. And so we have to find ways to do that. And so I don't know that that challenge is ever going to go away, because every brand, no matter who you are, needs that data. I think our biggest challenge as a brand going forward is really about making sure that we are staying close to what moms of today are interested in, right? Because as you think about this, moms' needs evolve over time, right? The needs of a mom that's 35 plus may be different than the needs of a mom who's 20 to 34. The needs of a kid and the expectations of a child who's 5 today is different than the needs and the expectations of when my kids were 5, or maybe when your kids were 5. And so that's our challenge, right? Our challenge is making sure that we are constantly watching, constantly learning, and constantly evolving. And that's difficult when you have a big box, right? And so what's important is the 4 seasons of fun is a way that we said, hey, we're gonna do this different. We're gonna change how we do things. The mobile app is another example of us saying, wait, like, this is how people behave. We're going to do something different. And so I expect that we'll continue to do that. And our challenge will be finding ways to deliver it to the guests in the way that it meets their expectation and in a way that we can operationally deliver it with excellence.
Okay. And when you look at personalization, we talked about that a little bit, being able to do it at scale, something we hear consistently about. We just had a kind of a small-sided meeting with brands, and it's something they want to get to, but the challenge of listening to and understanding their customers can be difficult. And you mentioned a little bit of that right now as well. A mom who's 35, mom who's 40, or 25 and 40 can be diametrically different, right? There can be a huge dichotomy in their needs, their interests, and how do you get to personalization, and what are kind of the opportunities you see around personalization?
Yeah, I think one of our first steps really is this mobile app, right? Because you're able to enter your profile, your behavior is different, what you buy is different, the time of day you go is different. The day of the week that you go is different. And so knowing that and then being able to message you so that you know what's going on relevant to your usage and your behavior is one of the steps. One of the other steps is really understanding the audiences, right? We've got a kid audience, we've got a mom audience, moms are changing. And so we make an extra effort to make sure that the way that we are messaging these guests in I'm going to call them traditional mediums, but what I really mean is paid mediums. So digital, social, linear TV, OTV, all of those things. We segment those channels based on viewership and based on how our guests are listening. And we message accordingly, right? And so the message that I'm going to send when I'm doing OTV for kids is not going to be the same message that I'm going to send to moms. And moms' behaviors, we try to find the commonalities and send them those messages that make sense. And so we are actively doing that, not only in our media strategy, but in our creative strategy, making sure that we have relevant messaging and relevant content across the base.
Okay. When you look at kind of partnerships, that's another area. It's a huge interest, right? Especially with the privacy issues and cookies going away and acquisition changing. Finding a brand that has similar interest, same passion points for customers can be very important. And having a mutual symbiotic partnership is very important. Is that something you were focusing on? And if so, how are you guys looking at partnerships now and potentially going forward?
So traditionally, CEC, much like many brands, looked at partners for more what I'll call transactional or tactical kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So here's a bottle of whatever. Can you move 12 of these, right? That kind of partnership. What we're looking at now is we're really interested in building kind of longer term strategic alliances. And so across multiple touch points, so we can extend the brand reach. We can add value to the guest experience. You're going to hear me all the time. It's always about the guest and what is going to round out the experience of the kiddo and the experience of the parents. And then finding a way that we understand their objectives and not only what can they do for us, but what can we do for them, right? And so we're looking for those places where the alliances make sense. We have a team And it's a team that we put in place over the last year. The team leader comes from a background where she leads strategic partnerships and entertainment. And she and her team are working on that really every day to kind of identify and understand what partners make sense. But that job is really trying to understand the strategies of brands that are more targets towards kids, and making sure that their strategies are not only good strategies, but they align with our strategies and our mission and our values. And that's a whole team that's doing that.
Well, I think that's interesting too, and that's what we see. We help facilitate a lot of those partnerships, right? Do a lot of introductions to our community because they're very hard, right? And we have a partnership network we developed, but we also hear that brands, you getting in touch with potentially Sephora or getting in touch with an Accor can be very challenging to get to the right person and make sure you have that synergistic alignment. And I think that's a huge opportunity for brands, but getting to that alignment can be very difficult. And it's great that you hear that you have a team kind of committed to doing that, because it is that fairly large undertaking.
It is. And we believe in it. So we believed in it. So we've invested in the talent and leadership to drive that initiative.
Okay, great. So when you look at customers, they're changing. Definitely. They were changing before COVID, changing now, going through COVID, and it'll change afterwards. Some, have some kind of return to normal. With definitely changing. Behavior is changing. It's very fluid, as you know. How do you feel your customers are changing? Maybe how are they changing in your industry? I know your industry kind of touches. You have entertainment, you have food, and as you move to more kind of a casual dining kind of focus versus just a kind of event based, that'll change as well. So, how do you see your customers changing?
That's a hard thing to answer, frankly, because consumer behavior is dynamic. It was dynamic before COVID. It's even more dynamic, and I'm going to call it loosely a post-COVID time, right? As things reopen and try to get back to normal. And so what we try to do, and we do this very consistently, is we do a lot of first-party research to understand what our guests are saying, what they're telling us, what they want, what's important to them, what's not important to them, how they expect to use the brand the same or different, how they expect their children to interact with our brand the same or different. We have done monthly outreach and research to our 3.5 million folks who are in our e-club. We are doing, following some syndicated studies. We do some studies where we actually reach out to folks who are just in our trade zones and ask them those questions. And so we use that as a way to try to understand behavior and how it changes. And frankly, from the March of last year to March of this year, there have been changes, right? And how people think and what they want. And we'll continue to monitor that and make sure that we're different, that we deliver. But what I can tell you that what we want to change is we want people to understand the value proposition that is Chuck E. Cheese, right? And understand that we are an experience and entertainment-based business. We want our guests to walk away saying, it's not just about the game that I played. It's not just about the pizza that I bought. It's about the moment that I had to connect with my kids and see them be happy and play games with them and eat food with them and share in those things and keep that framed picture from that night that will always make us smile when we think about how much fun it is. And that is what we want people to walk away with. And we believe, particularly given the year that we've had, that there is more value placed on creating those memories and those moments and that time together. Yep. And we are the right place for you to do that, particularly if you have kids, under 10 in the sweet spot of 3 to 8. We believe that we can provide that place, those experiences to allow you to create those memories.
Absolutely. When you look at metrics, KPIs are very important. Trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. As a CMO, you have to report to the CFO a lot of times too to kind of substantiate the efficacy of the program. How do you measure the efficacy of your customer loyalty and customer experience efforts?
So we look at a lot of things, right? It's very early on for us, but one of the things that we start to look at are just frankly, the number of people who are enrolling, right? Does the program add value? And it will add value. We'll know it's adding value. People start talking about it, and we're seeing more people enroll. But we also look at overall satisfaction. There is a tool in the mobile app that asks people to tell me about your experience, right? And so we think about that in terms of guest satisfaction. Were they satisfied with their experience? Did they have a good time? Did that make sense? We also look at ratings, right? And so very easy, you can get a rating in iOS or an Android store, and you know how the app is performing and are people happy with it or not. And then obviously we will always do brand tracker and guest satisfaction surveys to understand how people are not only responding to the big brands from an awareness, from a trial, from a usage, from an experience base, but other things that we are programmatically delivering, like the mobile app or like the 4 Seasons of Fun.
Absolutely. What's the next big thing for customer experience, customer loyalty for you and your team?
Well, if I tell you that, I might be giving away.
Good point. Well, we see that you're doing so well in so many things. We got a little secret sauce to kind of inform of it.
I think the next big thing is really this tabletop ordering. And I kind of shared that with you a little earlier as the next thing on the horizon. But just imagine, right? If you've been to a Chuck E. Cheese on a busy Saturday and there's, birthday parties happening and your kids are playing and they're like, Mom, Dad, I need more money on my card. Wouldn't it be great to just say, oh, no problem. Go have some more fun. Or Mom, Dad, we're starving. Oh, no problem. Would you like cheese or pepperoni? And it comes to your table. And you as a parent can continue to play with them because you're in the middle of a wonderful skee ball battle, right? So you don't have to leave that fun to go place the order. Or if you're sitting at the table because you're tired, you're watching them play and enjoying that moment, you can sit at your table and you can order from your table and it's going to come right to you. That for me is full customization and personalization of your experience, because now I can manage every experience that happens in the 4 walls right here from my home, and we're actively working on that.
Okay, great. You guys are obviously doing some amazing things. How do you think you're different than some of the competitors out there?
Well, who would you say is our competitors? I should ask you that.
That's and we mentioned that earlier. You're kind of an amalgamation of both food, but as you move more into the food, right, you compete with potentially, I don't know, the Pizza Huts or some of the other kind of growing pizza chains. But you are very unique, but you also compete against Dave & Buster's potentially as well, correct? Or here in Cincinnati, Scene 75 potentially. I don't know how many locations they have there. There are 3 or 4. You have a very different competitive set. How do you think you're different?
So listen, I would say that Chuck E. Cheese is very unique. And I think if you picked apart the components of the business, you could say, oh, well, maybe we compete here or maybe we compete there. We are an entertainment brand, and we are a brand that delivers entertainment. And entertainment is all encompassing, right? It's your experience, it's food, it's beverage, it's all those things together. And I think what makes us a little bit unique from some of those folks that you might have talked about, like a Dave & Buster's, or even on the pizza side, like a Pizza Hut, is that our focus is families with kids under 10, with a sweet spot of 3 to 8. Those other brands don't have that sweet spot, and so I don't know. There are some of those places that I probably wouldn't have taken my 7-year-old, right? Because they would have been like, what are we doing? And you're making me sit with me. And 2, there's just experiences and there's an environment that I may or may not have wanted them to be. Chuck E. Cheese is uniquely tailored for those families with young kids. And from an entertainment space, because it is everything together, we think we have a unique proposition that distances us from kind of a category like delivery pizza, right? And though we offer delivery, because you may want to bring a full experience of Chuck E. Cheese home, because we do have wonderful pizza. I would put our pizza up against most pizza chains in America. I mean, it's delicious pizza, and we have people who tell us, in fact, when we started doing third party, is, oh my gosh, my kids are grown up now, and I always felt strange about coming back to Chuck E. Cheese with no kids to get pizza, but now I can order it. that's fantastic. And so we believe that our proposition in total is quite unique, but that we are best in class across all of the experiences that we offer to families across the country and frankly across the world.
Absolutely. And the last question I have for you, I like your salad bar. I think it's always it's especially good, and like the little crackers are
Yes.
always good. So that's always good. And you actually have a pretty good iced tea. It's been a while since it's been, but I'm a big iced tea person. Some iced tea is just horrible, and it's always good to have that. I know people get that focus on the coffee, but there are a lot of iced tea aficionados out there that really like the good iced tea as well, which is a challenge to me. But anyway. Last question. What can Loyalty360 do to help you and your team with your customer loyalty, customer experience efforts?
Listen, I think as we think about how to move forward, it is always a good practice to learn from your peers and from others in the industry who are experts in different areas. And so we would certainly benefit from shared learning and best practices experiences with you. And I would love to have the opportunity to get our leader of licensing, partnership, and entertainment included in that so that we can broaden the discussion.
Absolutely. Well, I think this has been great. I love your passion, hearing what you guys are doing, the kind of the unique focus you have in your customers. You don't always hear that from a lot of people we speak to. Most people we speak to have, a very unique passion. When some people, you get off the call and like, oh, that call wasn't as great. This is one of the best ones I've had in a long time. I love your passion. I love your energy. And thank you very much, Sherri, for your time and sharing us what you guys are doing and how you're doing it. And look forward to learning more from you guys throughout the year.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I have to say my passion is really driven by the brand. I mean, what better place to work than a place that's all about kiddom and delivering on the wishes of kids and being a place where they can be happy and celebrate themselves in their entirety and create memories for families. There's nothing better than that. And as a mom of two girls who are quickly aging out, those memories are precious. So I'm really proud to work for the business. I'm proud about what we're doing and look forward to delivering more for families for years to come. So thank you so much. We look forward to talking to you soon and getting some best practices and shared practices across the industries.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening, and join us back soon for another edition. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks.